Hi there, I'm Kerry. So today we're going to do a all-around balanced flow yoga practice. It's going to be moderately paced, and the idea here is to just really move with the breath. So if my cueing seems a little fast for your own natural rhythm, or maybe a little slow for your natural rhythm, really try to follow your own breath, your own rhythm today, so that you get the most connection within yourself as you practice. So we're going to begin standing. So go ahead and get yourself ready. Today we'll use a block if you have one. So grab hold of a block and we'll begin just at the top of your mat. Starting off at the top of your mat, let your arms by your sides, Tadasana. Begin by settling down your breath. And on your next inhale, reach your arms up, lifting up. Exhale, just let the arms come back down by your sides, nice and slow. Inhale, reaching the arms back up. And exhale them back down. One more time. Inhale. As you exhale, press the arms strong down by your sides. Good. This time take your feet a little bit wider, moving into a twist. Inhale, reaching your arms back up. As you exhale, turn to the right, let your arms come down by your sides, looking over your right shoulder. Inhale, the arms come back up. Exhale, the other side. Inhaling back up. And exhale over. One more time. Inhale. And then exhale. Coming back to center, keeping your feet wide. Exhale the hands softly to your heart. This time moving into a side bend, releasing your arms. Inhale, reach them up. Exhale and tip over to the side. We'll begin on the right side. And grab hold of your left wrist as you tip over. Just giving yourself a little bit of traction and length through the whole left side of the body. Inhaling yourself back up and exhale over to the other side. Inhale yourself back to center. Exhale, release the arms and take a forward fold. Dropping your head. Use the block if you like for extra assistance. And take a couple more breaths here. From here, pressing your feet down nice and slowly, starting to roll yourself back up. And then turn your toes out, heels in, starting to sink down into temple pose, or sometimes called goddess pose, lining the knees up with your ankles. And then as you press the balls of the big toes down, feel the thighs draw back, lift through the front of the hip bones, and then bend through the knees. Good, bringing your palms to your heart. Starting to build a little bit of heat. And noticing your toes, notice if they're starting to grip and see if you can lighten them up a little. Let them dance a bit. From there, let's move the body, keeping the legs nice and low, the hips dropped. Exhale, sink down. Taking the right arm, reaching down towards the floor. Inhale and bringing yourself back up. And exhale over to the other side. Good. Inhale and come back up. Exhale over. Inhaling yourself back up. And exhale over. Come back through center, softly let your hands come back down to your heart. Take a couple more breaths here. Good. Inhale, stretch back up. And we're going to turn towards your right leg, hands down, step back, downward dog. In downward dog, walk the dog, bend one knee and then the other. Take a quick look forward at your elbow pits. So the pits of your elbows, and we're looking to line up the center of the pits of the elbows with the angle of the thumb. So that's creating all one line. So go ahead and have a little look at those elbow pits. And for many of us, we need to spiral them forward a little bit. Good. From here, taking a low flow. Inhale, come forward to plank. Check out those elbow pits. Exhale, lower down. Release your toes. Inhale, let's come to our forearms. and into cobra pose. Gently pressing your forearms down and back to draw your chest forward. At the same time, tops of your feet down, reaching back through your toes. One more breath here. And slowly exhale back down. Tuck your toes, hands under your shoulders, press up to all fours. And we'll take a couple rounds of cat pose, setting yourself up on all fours. Again, check those elbow pits out, so line them up with the thumbs. And then when you're ready with your breath, exhale, round the back, drop the head. Inhale, arching the back gently. Exhale, round the back. And inhale to arch. One more. Good. Coming now into a neutral position. Shift the weight over to your left leg and slide your right leg back. And just notice if your right hip lifts at all. So try and keep the right hip down. And then look back at the left hip and see if it went off to the side. Hug it back in so that your hip and knee are lined back up. Really working your core. From there, either keep the toes down or reach the leg up. And just watch the back doesn't arch. So keep the leg level with the hips or lower. Then your left arm lifts, thumb towards the ceiling. If that's aggravating for your arm, keep the fingertips down. Tiger flow. Exhale, round the back. Bring the knee into the chest. Inhale, stretch back out. Exhale, tiger flow, round the back. Inhale, stretch back out. One more time. Exhale. So like a cat back, really round the back. Look at the belly button. Inhale, stretch back out. And exhale to release. Second side. Left leg stretches back. Lifting your leg up, being mindful of your spine. Keep it long. Hug the right hip in. And then reaching your right arm out, either in front of you or lift it up, thumb towards the ceiling. Keeping that external rotation of the upper arm bone. Good. Notice and be mindful of the left hip. It tends to want to lift up. Drop it down. Reach the leg back. And then see if you can lift from the left inner thigh up. Exhale, round the back. Knee to chest. Inhale, stretch it out. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen. Think length here. Watch you not arching the back. Exhale. And inhale. Releasing back to all fours and settle back into child's pose. Taking a few more breaths in child's pose, settling your breath down. And then start to reach your arms back out in front. Lift yourself up and back into downward dog. Again, checking for your shoulder alignment. So spiral those elbow pits slightly forward so they line up with the thumbs. From there, press the hands firmly down, that first knuckle pressing down. Then lift the right leg up. The same way you just did in the tiger flow. Watch the hip doesn't lift. Keep the right hip down. Hug the left hip in. From there, reach back. Steady the breath. Good. Slowly lower the leg back down. Left leg lifts. Not about how high you get, but creating integrity in your movement. Good. Lowering that leg back down. Little steps to your feet up to your hands. And then nice and slowly rolling yourself back up. At the top, roll your shoulders back. Reach the arms up. And exhale the hands softly to your heart. Take a few breaths here. Good. From here, let's work into the feet a little bit. Hands can be at your hips or down by your sides. Starting with your left foot, just lift the heel off the ground and then come to the toes. And then press the heel back down. 2 more times. Lift heel up to the toes, and then press the heel back down. Last time. Right side, lift the heel, come up to the toes, and press the heel back down. Lift the heel, come up to the toes, press the heel back down. Articulating the feet and warming them up nice and slow. From there, bend the knees into a baby Utkatasana. So bend the knees, stretching through the calves a little bit. So the upper body's staying just like in Tadasana, just bending the knees. Good, and then reach the arms up. Now keep this and lift the heels off the ground. Good, slowly stretch back up. Bring your hands down to your heart and lower your heels back down. One more time, bend the knees, reach the arms up. Lift the heels and then stretch back up. Hands down, lower the heels. Let's do it one more time. Bend the knees, lifting the arms. Heels lift, keep the knees bent, then slowly stretch the legs up. And exhale everything back down. Notice the sensations in your feet, just waking up your foundation. From here, we're going to move into tree pose, balancing onto your feet, starting by shifting your weight to your right foot. Lift the left leg up, either to the toes or lift up. From there, open the leg to the side. Good. And then take your hands to wherever feels good for you today. At the heart, maybe overhead, maybe nice and wide. And then notice what's happening to that right hip. Notice if it's popping out, hug it in, and keep the right hip back as you draw the left leg back, similar to when we were in that goddess pose. Both hip points lifting. Take a couple more breaths here. Excellent. From here, bring your hands back to your heart, crossing the left leg over the right thigh, and sink the hips back now into Utkatasana. So watch that your hips don't swing out to the side. What I'd like you to do is imagine your right sit bone making a line right with that right heel. So everything's lined up, so it's not going off the side, but lining up, and then sink back. Use your arms for balance. I like to take mine out in front. And then continuing to drop that left thigh down. Good, either stay here or drop the torso down, dropping your head. Keep sinking in the hip. Watch that your hips aren't going off to the side, hugging that right hip in. Slowly bring yourself back to center. Release the legs, stretch it out, and then swing it back behind you, all the way back into a lunge. In the lunge, reach the arms up. Lining up your front knee with the ankle, hip points lifting, and then reach out of your back heel. Beautiful. From there, as your hip points lift, lift through the chest, lift through your gaze, and take your arm bones back. Beautiful. One more breath here. From here, take the palms back down to your heart, and then we're going to spiral towards the right side, taking your left elbow down onto your thigh, and either gaze down at your front foot, or let your head turn with your twist. If your head's turning, drop the chin down a little so you're actually looking more back behind you. Good. Keep reaching out of your back heel, taking one more breath. Beautiful. Slowly come back up to center. Inhale. Exhale, take your hands down, step back, downward dog. Give your legs a little shake, a little stretch. And then just pause for a moment and notice any difference between the right and left side of your legs. Take an extra breath here. Lifting your sits bones up a little bit higher, hinging your hips back. And then this time either step or hop your feet to your hands. Nice and easy, rolling yourself back up. And coming back to Tadasana, reaching the arms up. Exhale your hands down. Feeling your rhythm. Notice your breath, your heartbeat. Taking one more breath here. Moving into our balance sequence on the other side. Hands on your hips, shift to the left, lift the right leg. Opening it to the side, taking either low tree, or if you like, you can have your foot on the upper thigh. Just watch that it's not going to be on the knee joint. So either high or low tree. And be mindful of your alignment. Notice that the hip pops out, hug it in. Keeping your hip points slightly lifted and active in the core, draw the right thigh back. And then add the arms to help make this feel even more awesome. As the top of your head reaches up, feel your left heel press down into the ground, lengthening through your tree pose. Take a couple more breaths. From here, crossing your leg over your thigh, and again, thinking of your sit bone going directly back, not off to the side, hinging down, using your arms for balance. Lower isn't better. Instead, be very mindful of your alignment. And also noticing your breathing. If you're holding your breath, it's your body's way of saying, too much, gone too far, too much. And just back off a little, calm the breath down. And then allow yourself to just soften in. Either stay here or taking a forward fold. Slowly start to roll yourself back up. Reaching your leg out in front and then swing it right back into warrior pose. Reaching the arms up. Integrate through your movement. Sink into that front leg. Reaching out of your back heel through the fingertips and look up. Keeping your left hip drawing back, both hip points lifting, sink a little deeper in the front leg. And then from here, take your palms down to your heart, spiraling yourself over to the left side. And as you press your palms together, let your head gently turn and tuck the chin a little so you're actually looking back behind you. This is also a good chance to see what's going on with that left hip and hug it back in. Nice. Taking another breath here. Keep the back leg active. Reach out the back heel. Nice and easy. Come back to center. Hands down. Step back. Downward dog. Inhale and come forward into plank pose. Exhale, lowering down, chaturanga. Inhale, lift through the chest, cobra. And exhale it back, downward dog. Taking a couple more breaths here. And then from here, we're going to move into fire hydrant pose. Inhale, lift your right leg up. Exhale, draw the knee into your chest, round the back, nose to knee. Inhale, stretch the right leg up. Now open the hip and bend your leg, drawing your right heel towards your bum. From there, think of the right hip lifting up, but then lift both hip points up. As you do that, drop the left heel and settle the breath. Taking one more breath here. Slowly take that right leg, step it up to your hands, spiral the left heel down and windmill all the way up, warrior two. Looking at your right fingertips, settle your breathing down. Fine-tuning our alignment a little bit, release any grippiness in the toes. And then Root down with the ball of the big toe as your right thigh draws back. From there, feel both hip points lift, sinking a little deeper. With soft shoulders, soft gaze, settle your breath. From here, taking reverse warrior, tipping back, following your top arm up, and then sink a little deeper in that front leg. Nice and slowly bring yourself back up. And you may want to have a block here as you straighten through the front leg, tipping forward Trikonasana. Top arm can stay lifted or on your hip. And then just have a look at what's going on with that right leg. Wiggle those toes. Press the ball of the right big toe down. But still imagine the right thigh drawing out. That's going to help keep the knee tracking with the toes. From there, keep your left hand on the hip and roll the hip open. And then maybe add the arm. Take a couple more breaths here. Beautiful. From here, slowly bring yourself back up, warrior two. Straightening into your right leg, turn to the side, hands come to your hips. Take a big breath in. Exhale, hinge from the hips, forward fold. Let your head drop down, pressing your feet down. And almost imagine you're wearing roller skates right now. And instead of your amazing sticky mat holding you there, what I want you to do is hug in. Hug in. Activate those inner thighs. It's going to help stabilize the back. Take a couple more breaths in this wide leg forward fold. Good. Then nice and slowly rolling yourself up. And begin to make our way to the left side. Turning your left leg, bending the knee. Reaching the arms up. Gazing at your left fingers. Rooting the ball of the left big toe down, and at the same time the left thigh draws back. And then often what happens is we drop the left hip here. So what I want you to do is lift the left hip up so it's level with the right. Then sink in. Oh, you're going to really feel it in those inner thighs. Imagining your spine getting taller. Crown your head up, tailbone down. Take a couple more breaths. Inhale it back, reverse warrior. Following your top arm up, or let your head turn and look back at your back foot. Whatever feels better in your body. Bring yourself back up slowly, mindfully straighten the front leg, tip forward, hand to a block, or maybe the floor, and top arm to your hip. Gaze down at your left foot. Notice if you roll to the pinky toe side of your foot, and anchor the big toe side of your foot down. But then at the same time, feel the left thigh trying to roll back a bit, making sure that knee stays lined up. With your right hand on the right hip, roll it open. And then slowly let that right arm lift. Take a couple more breaths here. Trikonasana being a great pose for back pain. So let's make sure that we're nice and strong and stable through the core. And there's no big arching or you're not rounding forward to make this happen. If you are, come out a little bit more. Come out a little bit more. Good. One more breath here. Nice and slowly coming back up, warrior two. And then we still need to complete this practice. So from here, windmilling your arms down to the floor, and then right away take that left leg, step it right back and up into your fire hydrant pose. Notice those elbow pits. Notice what they're up to. Roll the elbows forward a bit. Get that external rotation of the shoulders. One more breath. Good. Slowly setting that foot back down. Then your choice, we're going to meet in child's pose, either heading right into child's pose or taking a flow first. Once you're in child's pose, steady the breath. Relax all the expression muscles of the face. So let your eyes soften. The muscles in your cheeks soften. Your lips and even your tongue. Connecting with the sensations in the body, with the breathing. From here, starting to extend your arms back out in front. Coming back to all fours and then again back into downward dog, lifting your right leg up and stepping it up to your hands into a lunge. Come up to your fingertips and draw your chest forward. And then watch the right hip tends to want to creep up. So what I want you to do is bring that right hip back and imagine again the right sit bone lining up at the right heel. Hug it in. As you do that, reach out through that left heel. That's going to be what gives you that space. Chest forward. Take one more breath here. Good. From here, start to draw the left knee up and behind the right leg. Have a seat spiraling back down. Nice. Then with your fingertips on the ground, lift your hips up a bit and shift them over to the right side. Excuse me, over to the left side. So I'm going to go back to being your mirror here. Good. From here, slowly twisting to the right. Remember, this isn't about forcing the body or judging the body. It's about how can we move with kindness, compassion, so we can start that process of letting go of tension, letting go of those layers that hold us back from freedom, hold us back from happiness. Slowly unravel your twist, placing your hands on the ground or on your ankles and slowly fold forward. Drop the head. I like to have my hands in front because I'm quite tight here, and that gives me a bit more support. Steady the breath. And wherever you feel a deep stretch here, what I'd like you to do is to see if you can consciously soften those muscles and direct your breathing into that area of the body. And as you breathe into that area of the body, notice what happens when you take a long exhale. Nice and slowly coming back up. And then we're going to spiral out of this. So taking your top leg, set it down, come back into that high lunge. Setting yourself up here for a few breaths. Good, and then we're going to walk around. So from here, walk yourself around through the middle, all the way around to the other side. Keep spiraling as you drop your back leg back in and head back down into our little twisted seated position. Keep the spiral action going as you twist towards the left, looking over the left shoulder. Notice what's going on with the left hip. Tends to want to lift here. See if you can anchor it down. As the left hip anchors down, Lift through the left side of your ribs, left side of your waist. Creating lots of length and space around the kidneys. Helping to gently massage, cleansing all the internal organs. Coming back through center, placing your hands down, floor or ankles, and gently fold forward. Let this be more about a way of turning inward. Notice if any fighting is starting to come up, whether the muscles are clenching or the mind is tightening in some way. And instead of fighting with your body or your mind, see if you can let out a soft, easy exhale. And bring some compassion in, some love, some kindness. Slowly coming out of our twist, this time simply lean back, untangle those legs, and then give them a little shake out in front. Good. And then from here, take your legs a little bit wider than your hips and let them roll open and then roll them in. Just creating a little bit of a release for where the thigh and the hip meet. Rolling them open and then roll them in. A couple more times. Excellent. Coming back to center, now bring your feet back in. Placing your hands back behind you. And let's start with the fingers facing away from you. Little bend in the elbows. Lift through the shoulders, roll them back, and then lift the chest towards the ceiling. And if this is feeling okay for you, playing with lengthening through the elbows. And if you like to add on, turn the fingertips to face you without letting the shoulders roll forward. If they do, keep the fingers facing away. If you're able to maintain the alignment in the shoulders with the fingers facing you, go ahead and play with that. Continue to lift through the chest. And those of you with your fingertips turning to face you, if you'd like to add on again, lifting through the hips into tabletop. For me, that's feeling a little strenuous. I'm going to keep my hips down and keep rising the chest up. One more breath. Slowly, those of you with your hips up, lowering them back down. And then moving yourself into Dandasana. From here, what I like to do is I like to sit up on a block. So I encourage you to take hold of a block here. Maybe a chip block like this, or just a pillow, whatever you happen to have in your house. And then have a seat up high on that, so that helps bring the pelvis into a neutral position, stretching the legs back out in front. Reach through the heels, reach the balls of the big toes, and imagine you've got two sandbags on the tops of your thighs, pressing them down. As the thighs draw downward, feel the crown of your head reach up. Extend through the crown of the head by reaching the fingertips out, lengthening the waist, lengthening all through the back of the kidneys. Take one more breath here. As you exhale, bend the knees a little bit, fold forward. Again, I like placing my hands along the sides of my legs so I'm not aggravating my hamstrings. Keep the legs integrated and then let the upper body soften forward. Paschimottanasana. This isn't about how far you go. Instead, it's about this action of turning in. We give a lot of energy in our day, our work, our family, our friends. Let this be a moment for you to simply turn inward. Nice and slowly bringing yourself back up. This time bend your legs. Hands back behind you the same way, and we can take the same variations. So from here, you can begin with the hands either facing away, elbows bent, chest lifts, or again, taking the variation with the fingertips facing you. Those of you with the fingertips facing, if you'd like to add on, bend through the elbows, hug the elbows in like you're holding a ball behind you, lift the chest, and then lift the hips into bent leg tabletop. Arms straighten. Take a few breaths here. Good, nice and slowly lowering your hips back down. Keep the legs bent and simply give your legs a little hug. Seated child's pose. Good. From here, time to head down to your back. So this is a good time to get your blanket, if you have one, and maybe an eye pillow. From here, we're going to begin by rolling down nice and slowly. Arms up in front, rounding the back, drop the chin, and roll all the way down to your back. Once you're on your back, widen your legs, and let your legs simply rock side to side in windshield wipers. And then we're going to hold with the legs over to the right. Let your arms go overhead, and then just lift the shoulder blades a little more into the back body. Take a few breaths here. Really breathe through that whole left side body, all the way along the left quadricep. Keep the arms where they are and take your legs now to the left side. Bringing your legs back to center. Walking your legs in, let your arms by your sides. We're going to set up for bridge pose. Bring your heels in about sits bones distance apart. And bring the heels in towards your bum as close as comfortable. So that when you lift your hips, the knees and ankles line up. So watch that they're not super far in and the knees go way over. Or they're not too far out and the knees stay in front of the heels. So try and find that sweet spot where the ankles are under the knees. Arms by your sides, lifting the hips. Imagine you have a ball between the inner ankles and hug in. And then draw the knees forward. As you do, lift through the chest. Start to roll the shoulders under. Clasp your hands if you like. It's not necessary. But now I want you to imagine your sternum drawing towards your chin. Take a couple more breaths here. Really lengthening through the whole front body. Good. And then as we go to release, see if you can roll your vertebrae down one at a time, nice and slow. Try to get the lower back down before your hips land. Working the core a little bit there. Once your hips land, pause there, either in Baddha Konasana, knees open, or widen the feet and drop the knees together. Constructive rest pose. Good. Bringing your legs back up. And then stretch your legs up towards the ceiling. Flexing, pointing your toes. Good. Take your legs a little wider and now circle the ankles. Get all those snap crackle pops out. Circling the other way. All the while getting all these great benefits of having the legs inverted. Oh, that was a good one. Good. And then hold here the legs, the feet flexed, pressing through the balls of the big toes. And then slowly let your legs go out to the sides, stretching through those inner thighs. Keep reaching through the heels. And then bring the legs back up to center. Point the toes. Flex. One more time. Open the legs out. Slowly bring them back in. And this time hug the knees into your chest. Lift the head and shoulders off the ground. Turn yourself into a little ball. If you can, lift your hips up. And then lower the hips. Slowly lower the upper body. And then lower the legs. From here, starting to prepare for Shavasana. This is a good time to take a blanket, placing it over your body. Getting a bolster under the knees if you like. And even if you have an eye pillow, placing your eye pillow on. And then take the next few moments to make any final adjustments you need for the physical body to feel really comfortable. Take a nice long breath in and a soft releasing exhale out through the mouth. Bringing your awareness to your back body. With each exhale, allowing the back body to release a little bit more into the ground. Noticing the 9 points of contact, the back body and the ground. Notice the back of your head, the right and left shoulder blade, the back of your right arm, and the back of your left arm. Notice the back of the pelvis, the right and left heel. And as you exhale, allow these 9 points of contact to rest a little bit more into the ground. And now bring your awareness to the front body. Notice how your breath is moving through the front body. Almost like a wave is washing over you. As you inhale, imagine this wave starting at your feet and moving all the way up to the top of your head. As you exhale, imagine this wave washing over from the top of your head all the way down to your feet. Inhale from your feet up to your head. Exhale from the head down to your feet.